Okay, folks, starting off with idrA here in just a few minutes. I'm going to give you guys a little bit of music while they wrap up State of the Game, and we'll be getting Greg on the show any second now.
Hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Jeff, how are you?
Good. Sorry we're late, man.
Hey, it's no problem. I was listening to the State of the Game. Always a fun thing to tune into. So no worries whatsoever.
Indeed. Thank you.
Greg just told me that he is taking a quick bathroom break, so we'll get him on the call here in just a second. How are you?
I'm doing well, man. Just busy, busy, busy.
I hope you're ready for this beating I'm about to put on you.
I sure am.
Speak of the devil. I guess I'll add him to the call as soon as he says he's 100% ready. So as far as format goes, we're just gonna, I guess, play a best of 3 of sorts, and well, I'll just add Greg to the call first, and then we'll talk.
Sounds good.
Yo.
Hello, idrA. How are you, sir?
Pretty good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I want to thank you, mega thanks for agreeing to come on. People have been begging and pleading for me to get you to come on the show for a long time now, and I'm so excited to finally have you here.
No problem. Happy to be here.
Awesome.
Is the broadcast live and stuff?
We definitely are live.
Okay.
And Jeff is on the call, so feel free to say hi to your teammates.
What's up, Greg?
Hey, Jeff.
Hey.
I gotta pull up the
Hey.
JTV chat, and if there's sound, there it is. Good. I just gotta make sure that we're coming through loud enough.
It was the final play.
Sorry about that, listeners.
And I do have a question. Are we going to be doing this like Star Brain? Like, am I telling you how to play while you do the show match? Or
Well, I don't
am
want
giving
to.
you a staff
I don't want to. I guess interfere with your coaching style. I don't know how you like to do things, but what I had kind of hoped to do is, we'll just kind of sit here and talk for a little bit about how you like to approach your ZvP, and then we'll jump into the games, and I'll play our first one, and I'm gonna, please by all means interject and offer me whatever advice that you have. But for the first game especially, I'm gonna sort of play my style as I try to play it when I go ladder. And then for the second, and then after that, we'll sit here and we'll talk a little bit, and we'll figure out what worked, what didn't work, what changes I need to make. And then for the second game, we'll try to work in as many of those major adjustments as we possibly can. And whether or not I manage to take a game off of Jeff, we'll play a third game. And then hopefully we'll have time for maybe you guys to play one or two before we take some questions. Does that work for you guys?
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, my normal lesson is mostly just me playing practice games against them and giving them feedback afterwards, maybe going over the replay with them. I just figured it might be a different format for this since it's like a broadcasted show match and stuff.
Well, yeah, it's just basically you're going to be playing the role of the commentator in a sense, but you're going to be talking more so directly to me in direct regards to how we want to approach the game and the matchup tactically and at as high a level as possible. I'm certainly not a pro gamer, but I play a decent, North American Master League Zerg. I like to think, at least. Knock on wood. I think it's. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying it sounds good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. I think it's worth noting that right now, ZvP definitely feels like my worst matchup. Actually, before we even get going, I want to make sure that people can hear everybody in chat, because I forgot to check that. I guess I could just ask one of my mods. We can hear. Yes, it's fine. Perfecto. It says maybe you're a little quiet, so I'll turn it up just a little bit. And now Jeff will be overpowering when he speaks, but that's normal, right, Jeff?
He's always overpowering.
Dun, dun, dun.
Okay, so anyways, like I was saying, I would like to, I guess, interject and say that ZvP right now feels like my worst matchup. I get into the mid game okay, and I try to pressure and I try to hit those mid game timings that are so important, in my opinion, in regards to kind of keeping the Protoss army manageable. Like if you just never engage, he just gets too big. So is that right?
Yeah, it is very important because otherwise they get to that max 200 death ball. So really your goal is to get as big of an economic advantage as you can in the early mid game, like that time when they have their expansion up. You already have enough roaches out to hold off any kind of warp gate timing rush. During that period, you really have to focus everything on droning really heavily, getting your upgrades going, get everything prepared, and then having a huge boom of units that you then use to engage, if it's at all possible, and keep their Colossus count down and prevent them from taking an easy third. That's kind of what everything revolves around right now.
Awesome, 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 awesome. So if you were going to advise me on what the very best way to maybe open in this matchup would be, I've played with a lot of different things. Hatchery first obviously has merit, but it's a little bit risky. Opening with Speedling again has lots of merit because you get some good map control, but that's at the expense of a little bit of early economy. And then you have these pool into hatch builds that kind of skip the speed. Do you have one that you prefer and that you would kind of advise that I sort of take into this?
As you said, everything really, there's a lot of give and take right now. There is no best build as far as I'm concerned. I feel that Hatchery first should be the best build, except if I think a properly executed cannon rush should not be able to be defended by it. I think cannon rush is essentially a hard counter to it on most maps. But again, the pool first or Speedling first has its own vulnerabilities, since if you drone up enough to be, competitive in the mid game, it leaves you open to warp gate rushes. So for the time being, I would recommend opening Speedling, just because it means that you're not going to die early and it allows you to progress into the game and actually practice.
Yeah.
But at a highest level, I think you kind of just have to vary between the builds and hope that you catch people off guard, so that they can't just go Forge first every time. They can't just go quick Cybercore every time.
Well, let's talk about Speedling just a little bit. There's a couple different ways to go about it. Probably my favorite way is to actually go 15 pool, 15 gas, because I just, for whatever reason, that feels really economical. But go ahead.
I generally go 15 gas, 14 pool against Protoss. I just, if I ever intend to go Speedlings, I always get the pool first, or the gas first.
Right.
Just because when Speedling is your focus, you might as
You
well
want to get that speed.
go for Speedling. Yeah. Getting the really, really early pool is barely ever relevant. Proxy gates are not in vogue right now. I barely ever see them, so it's not really something I consider.
I think the other thing I was going to ask you about, now I know that you play a very macrocentric style, and that's absolutely what I want to focus on today, because in my opinion, and in the opinion of I think most, if not all, top players, is if we practice this macro style, this is how we become better players. And then when we get into a tournament setting, in a best of X setting, then we can mix it up a little bit. And it's important to have things in our bag, but certainly for the purpose of what we're doing here today, we want to be macroing. But I've been bringing guys on the show every week. We've had a lot of really talented pros coming on and talking to us, and there's been some discussion, and some interesting discussion in my opinion, about getting like a 13 gas 12 pool or a 14 gas 13 pool, because, and I've heard different reasons. One is just a little bit faster speed, allowing you to kind of pressure the front and really threaten to kill that zealot or that gateway, and two is if you go, and forgive me, I don't really go 15, 14 like you described, but I know if you go 13, 12, no matter what, if he puts 5 pylons down on my natural, I'm always going to get the hatchery at the exact same time. Do you have any opinion at all on these slightly earlier gases and pools?
If you want to focus on an early pool, I would suggest going like 9 or 10 pool and getting really fast slings. I feel that has a lot more chance to be effective aggressively. And if you're playing a fast pool just for defense, I think 15 gas 14 pool is in plenty of time. You have the lings out. They really dedicate a ridiculous amount to it.
Okay, sorry, we missed about half of that. If you had the lings out, pause.
Basically, if you're going pool first to be aggressive, I would suggest a 9 or 10 pool or something that actually, if they're going forward, if they're doing Nexus first, really risky or something, you'll just kill them.
Right. If
they're delaying their zealot for quicker tech or something, then it's also a very good chance to kill them. Basically, if you catch them off guard, it's likely to do damage. But a quick Speedling build is not going to catch them off guard. They're going to scout you before the lings are there. And even if you can kill the zealot, and often you can if you're willing to commit to it, they just put down a pylon block and wait for the sentry.
Okay.
It's just like, your lings shouldn't do damage. And if you want to go a quick pool for defensive purposes, then 15 gas 14 pool is in time. Unless they really commit a ridiculous amount to blocking your natural, you're going to be able to clear it in time. Like if they put down a pylon and then a gateway and then a cybercore or something, then they can delay it, but that's not even worth it.
Yeah.
And you have the lings in time to defend any unit aggression. So I would recommend 15 gas 14 pool for a Speedling build.
All right, one more question on the opening, and then I'll move into a little bit of mid-game discussion, and then we'll jump in and play these games. I don't want to talk forever because I know people want to see us play and hear you coach. In Brood War, it was actually pretty popular to get like 9 pool Speedling. Obviously, the early game economic aspect in Brood War is different in that we start with fewer drones and everything just kind of ramps up more slowly. But in Star 2 is 9 pool maybe even feels cheesy. If we were to go 9 or 10 pool, are we killing ourselves for the mid game?
It is definitely a very risky build. You have to do damage with it or you're significantly behind. And I don't like it just because it feels very easy to nullify lings early on for me. The strength of building walls and just the fact that Zerglings aren't as good as they were. They got a rate of fire nerf and, you know.
Definitely.
So it is a very risky build. You can catch them off guard and you get free wins from it, but if it doesn't work, you're way behind.
Well, maybe we can talk about that some more at the end of the show. I think for the games today, we'll stay away from any sort of 9 pools cuteness. And Jeff, if you would like to just make the gentleman's agreement to kind of try to play some macro games for these 3 games.